Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to create this amazing website, which is an educational website. And this website is also responsive. As you can see on my computer screen, I have this one logo. Next, I have this one navigation bar with some menu items. Next, I have this one title and this small H1 tag. I also have this one button, and you can see on this button I have some hover effect. You can see whenever I hover this button, the background color changes. Also on my left side on my right side I have this one amazing image. Now let's see this website is responsive. As you can see, this website is fully responsive. Also here you can see I have my menu icon. So guys, we'll create this website using only HTML and CSS. So before starting this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. So let's start the video. Hello guys, welcome back again. So here I have created one folder called education website. Inside this folder, I have two more folders, one for my images and one for my source. For assets, these are my images. Inside this folder, I have my three images and one logo, two images and one logo. Next is my source. Here I have three main files, one for my HTML, one for my JavaScript, and one for my CSS. Now let's open this with our text editor. So here this is my index.html. Here I've written the basic HTML structure. Also here is my CSS. Here I've written the basic CSS structure like box sizing, border box. Also I have this one URL from Google Fonts. You can get your own Google font from you can get from your own link from Google Fonts. Now let's come back to our HTML. Here I have two links actually, one for our bootstrap and one for our font awesome. Next is I have this link tag, which is my CSS that I've connected with my HTML. Next, under the body I have three links for my JavaScript that I got from Cloudflare and one for bootstrap. I'm going to provide all these links in my video link description so that you can also get these links and do what I'm doing here. So come under the body. Now under the body, I'm going to create one header. Inside this header, we'll create one div with a class name container. Now inside this class, we'll create one nav with a class name navbar. Now inside in this class, we'll add some more classes. Next, inside this class, I'm going to create one anchor tag, and here I'm going to add nothing. I'm not going to add any link. So here I'm going to add a class. Now under this anchor tag, inside this anchor tag, we'll add one I tag, and I'm going to give it a class. And here I'm going to add my icon, not icon, actually my logo. So we'll add this icon. Also here we're going to add some text, but before doing that, let's add anchor tag. Not anchor tag, let's add some text. So here I'm going to say online edu. Now let's just do this. Now that's okay. Now let's save this and let's go back to our folder and open this with Google Chrome. Now you can see I have one logo here on my website. Now come back to HTML. Next we'll create one button, and this button I'm going to add a class. Next I'm going to add type. The type is going to be button. Next I will add data. And for this one I'm going to set it collapse. Again I will add data target. For this one I'm going to give it an ID. Next we'll add is area. I'm going to add area label. Now let's choose controls. Instead of area, we'll say area controls. For this one I'm going to set it navbar. Next, let me just do that. Next I'm going to add another one. This time I'm going to use expanded. For this one I'm going to say false. Next we'll add is label now, and for this one I will say toggle navigation. That's all. Now inside this button we'll add one more icon, and this icon I'm going to give it class. That's okay. So now we are done with our button. Now let's come at the end of this button. Now if we save this, go back to your web page, load it. Now you can see our logo is looking well. Now next, at the end of this button I'm going to create one more div with a class name collapse. This class I'm going to add more few things like navbar collapse. Also I'm going to add an ID. Navbar nav should be capital N. Let's just remove that, we don't need it. Now inside this div I'm going to create one more div with a class name mr auto. Inside this div I'm not going to add anything there. So now let's come back here. We'll add UL and some LIs. Now for our first UL I'm going to give it a class. Now inside this UL I'm going to add some LI with a class name nav item, and I'm going to make it active. No, but not now. Let's just say, let's give it a class first, and here I'm going to say active. For this list, I'm going to add some anchor tag, the class name navlink. Now inside this, between this anchor tag, the opening and the closing, I'm going to add some text, home. And also I'm going to add span tag, and I'm going to give it a class, this span. And I'm going to say current. Now we are done. So now let's come back here. At the end of this nav tag, at the end of this list, we'll create one more list with a class. I'm going to give it a class nav item. Now let's come and here inside this list, we'll add anchor tag. I'm not going to add any link for now. I'm going to add a class navlink. Also, I'm going to add a text about. Now we are going to duplicate this. So come back here, copy this, and let's add more nav items. So for this one, I'm going to change my text to courses. Next, for our next class is this one, and here I'm going to change my text also to instructors. Sorry. And here also I'm going to change my class to nav item drop down, because we're going to add some drop downs. Drop down. Now inside this class, let's add one more div here with the class name drop down. Now inside this class is where I'm going to copy my anchor tag. Let's just move here. That's okay now. So next, let's add at the end of this div tag. No, at the end of this anchor tag, we'll add one more div with the class name drop down content. For inside this div, I'm going to add two anchor tags. Now let's copy this. Let's duplicate this one. And I'm going to change my text here to CSS. Now that looks fine. Now next, come at the end of this list. Let's copy this. And come at the end of this list. Let's copy paste here. Two more menu nav items. So I'm going to change my text as well here. Blog. Next, I'm also going to change this one. Contact. Also, now that looks fine. Now if we save this, reload our web page. For now, we don't have nothing, but let's continue. So next, at the end of this li, now at the end of this div, I'm going to create one more div with a class name container text center. Sorry, should be small letters. container. Now inside this class, I will add one few things like text center. That's all. Now inside this div, we'll create one more div with the class name row. Inside this div, I'm going to create some column. So let's create one class called also. Let's add few things here like call sm. Let's use 12. Also, I'm going to add text white. Text should be white. Now inside this div, I'm going to add few paragraphs. So before adding paragraphs, I'm going to add h6 and h1 tag. Let's create h6, and I'm going to add text like saying online learning. Also, we'll add h1. So it should be small letters. And here I'm going to add one head h1 tag with a text saying learn every day. Next, at the end of this h1 tag, we're going to add p tag. So for this p tag, let's go to our Google Chrome. Let's open a new tab, and we're going to add some dummy text. So click the first link. Now here I'm just going to copy some text, dummy text. That's okay. Now paste it here. Now at the end of this p tag, I'm going to add one button with a class name btn. Let's add few things here. btn light. Also, I'm going to add px5, not ps, px5. Then we'll add something like I want to make it primary button. Also come back here, we'll add one more things, py2. That's okay. Now for this button, we'll add one text that says read more. That's okay. Now come at the end of this div tag. Now we're going to create one more div with a class name called md5. Also, I'm going to add a few things here. For this one, I'm going to say sm12, and also we're going to add h25. Inside this div, we are going to add our image, img source, assets, and the image is min. That's our image. Next, for our alt, I'm going to say book. No, let's say let's not say book. I will just say let's say let's say book. It's okay. So come here. Let's close this. Now we are done. For that, I think we're done. Let's save this and reload our web page. Come back here. Now you can see we have our images and our text also. Also, you can see we have our menu, I mean our nav items here. So we need to style this. Now come back to your text editor, go to your CSS, and make sure you connect your CSS with HTML by using this link tag. Now let's come here. So for here, I'm going to say header, comma, section, and for open curly braces. For this section, I'm going to say overflow x hidden. Next, I'm going to say is I'm going to add root. For this one, I'm going to say so guys, here I'm just adding my font and my colors, but like all the colors that I'll be using for this website. Now here I'll change. I don't need all of this. So for this one, I'm going to say just like that. Now it's okay, comma, cursive. Now close that one. Next I'm going to do is this is our font that I've gotten from Google Fonts. Now for this one, I'm going to say Rubik, comma, cursive. Now to save time, I'm just going to copy paste. Now for this one, I'm going to change my text to this one. Also, we'll change here. Also, we're going to change our text here also. Lobster. Also, let's change this one. Now I think it's okay. Sorry, we don't need a capital L here. So next is I'm going to add colors, light black, and for this one I'm going to add color code. That's okay. Next I'm going to do is add one more color, light gray, and here I'm going to add RGB. Now that's okay. Make sure you close with semicolon. Next, I think we're done. Let's close that one. For our next class is our header. I'm going to say header for our anchor tags. For this class, I'm going to give font family. That's okay. Next, I'm going to add is font size. Next, we'll add color, white smoke. Next, background image, URL, assets / background. Now that's okay. Next, for my class is my drop down content. For this class, I'm going to give it display none. Next is position absolute. Next, we'll say background color, and I'm going to add one color code, F1. That's okay. Next, we'll add min width. For my min width, I'm going to give it 160 pixel. Next, we'll add is box shadow, 0 pixel. Also, I'm going to change my values. That's look nice. For next, one more thing is I'm going to add Z index to be 1. That's nice. Now let's move on. For my next thing is let's copy this class, drop down, and I'm going to say for our anchor tags, here I'm going to add color black. Next, I'm going to add padding, 12 pixel by 16 pixel. Next, we'll add text decoration, none. Next, I'm going to add display to be block. That's all. Now come back here. For this one, I'm going to add some hover effect. And this one, I'm going to add background color. That's all. Sorry, let's just remove this one. It's okay now. Now for our next class is drop down. And for this one, I'm going to add hover. And then I'm going to say drop down content. Open curly braces. For this one, I'm going to say display block. That's all. Now come here. Here I'm going to style my header dot nav item, and I'm going to say last child. Here I'm going to say padding right to be 10.5. That's all. Now come here. Again is our header, and we're going to style our nav item. Open your curly braces. I'm going to add padding 0.9. Next is our header again. This time I'm going to say my nav brand, navbar brand. For this class, I'm going to add one thing, that's padding left to be 8. Now let's save this, go back to our Google Chrome, and now let's refresh. Now you can see we have long way to go. That's our menu icon, guys. Now next I'm going to do is again come back here. Now what I'm going to do is again I'm going to say header, so it should be header. Then for this one is going to be nav link. For my nav link, I'm going to add hover effect. For this one, I'm going to add one color, that is black. That's okay. Now come here. Here I'm still going to say header row dot call md7. md7. Now for this class, here you can see we have two classes. One is row and the other one is call for our columns. Now for this one, I'm going to say padding. Again, here I'm going to add one Next, I'm going to say padding bottom. Here I'm going to add 35. View min. Again, next is our header again. For this header, I'm still going to say my row, class row. Then for my class, call MD5. Let's change this to 5. Open your curly braces. And for this one, I'm going to say padding 4.2. That's all. Now let's copy this class. And I'm going to add some hover effect. And not hover effect, IMG. For this IMG, I'm going to say width to be 90%. Next is our header. Now for this header, I'm going to add background. Gradient. Now that looks perfect. Next is I'm going to add background image. URL. For this asset, I'm going to say, no, sorry, forgot one thing here. It should be like that. And here I'm going to add background. Background dot jpg. That's all. Now come here. Here I'm going to say header, container, and again I'm going to say, let's copy this. It's already here. Open curly braces. Here I'm going to add one font family, which is Rubik, and I'm going to say comma sans serif. That's all. Come here again, header. Again is our container. Call MD6, no M7, MD7, and here I'm going to edit my H6 tag. And for this tag, I'm going to give it padding. This heading, this H6 tag, I'm going to give it padding of 1 view min height, view min. Next is letter spacing, 4 pixel. I think it shouldn't be more than 4 pixel, because if we say 5, it's going to be a lot of space between the letters. Next is our, let's just copy this, paste it here, and we're going to change this to not 7 hour. Let's change our h tag to h2, h1, and here I'm going to remove all of this. We don't need it. So here I'm going to say font size 8.5. Next I'm going to say font weight bold. Next I'm going to add padding. That's all. Now come here. Again is, let's copy that. For this one is our paragraph. So let's just remove all of this. So it should be closed. Make sure you close your curly braces. Here I'm going to add one thing, that is padding. That's all. Next is I'm going to add my primary button, primary btn. For this, I'm going to add two things, that is border radius and font weight. Border radius, I'm going to give it 30 pixel. Next is our font weight, bold. Now let's save this, reload the web page. Now you can see still this background, our background is not working, but you can see our button is working. Next, let's go to our JavaScript. First, let's connect this main.js into our, come here under the body of our HTML, come to our HTML under the body here. I'm going to create one script source. For this one, I'm going to say slash main.js. That's all. Save it. Now come to your main.js. For this one, I'm going to use the let keyword. I'm going to say let and count. Okay, equal selector equal or greater open curly braces, and I'm going to use the dollar sign. I'm going to give the parameter this. I'm going to give this parameter a value selector, and here I'm going to say .h. Okay, then we're going to add function. Now here I'm going to open. Now inside this let's add one parameter, one empty parameters, and here I'm going to say dollar this. Okay, so it should be bracket. That's all. Next I'm going to say dot animate. Now inside here I'm going to say counter, then we're going to use the dollar sign again, dot this, sorry, dot text. After this curly braces, I'm going to say comma, then I'm going to open new bracket curly braces, and here I'm going to say duration 4000, comma, again I'm going to say is in, and I'm going to add here text swing. That's all. Now come back here for my step. I'm going to create here one more thing, step function. So it should be function. Then I'm going to add value. Open your curly braces again. Here we're going to use the dollar sign again. Open your bracket, and here I'm going to add. I'm going to say dot text math dot sale. That's all, and we're going to add it. I'm going to say value. That's okay. Make sure you close your close it to semicolon. Next, come back here. Close that one. Also, we're going to close that one and this one. Next, I'm going to say let a equal to 0. Okay. And here I'm going to say window. Okay. Window dot scroll function. And here I'm going to say let top equal to $, and here I'm going to say dot numbers, okay, dot numbers, dot offset, and here I'm going to say dot top. That's all. Then I'm going to say minus window dot in. Let's use let's use height. Height will be perfect for this website. Again, I'm going to use the if statement. If a is equal to what? Let's say 0, and we're going to use the and. Then I'm going to say $, and here I'm going to say window. Okay. Now here I'm going to say dot scroll top. That's all. Again, I'm going to say here equal or greater top. That's all. Open your curly braces. Here I'm going to use increment a plus plus. That's all. Again, I'm going to say n count, and I'm going to say greater than h1 tag, my h1. Okay. Make sure you close this. Also close this. Lastly is my navbars. So I'm going to say let navbar equal to what? Let's open our let's use the $, and here I'm going to say dot navbar. That's all. Next we're going to say window dot scroll. Okay, and I'm going to add function. Now for here I'm going to say let put top equal to, again we're going to use the $, and I'm going to say dot section, our section. We forgot something. Let's quote this dot section. Okay, dot section 2 dot offset dot out top. Let's just say top. Okay, minus window dot inner height. That's all. Now again I'm going to use the if statement, and here I'm going to say window dot scroll top greater to top. Open your curly braces, and this one I'm going to say navbar dot add class. Okay, add class. I'm going to say sticky. That's all. Close that one, semicolon. And here I'm going to say if we're using if statement, so I'm going to say if navbar dot add class, and we're given a value sticky, and again we're going to say else open curly braces navbar dot remove class sticky. Okay, now close that one, save. So guys, you can see after saving our file, on our project file, you can see we have 5 errors, and also you can see these red lines. So we are going to correct these errors. The first error is this one, the equal. I'm going to remove that equal and put it here. Now you can see it's solved. The next one is our CSS. We have 3 files. Now if we tap it, it's going to take us this header nav link. So I'm going to remove that one. That was by mistake. Also save it. Now next is our primary btn. Come to your index file. Here we created one class called primary btn. So I'm going to correct that one by saying primary btn not button. Now save it. Go back to your Google Chrome. Refresh it. Now you can see we have our website. So you can see now our website. You can see our nav items with some hover effect. Also our logo has hover effect. Also we have this amazing button, read more. So now we have completed creating our website. So there's one thing that's remaining, that is it responsive? Is this website responsive? So let me show you this website is responsive. Click inspect. You can see this website is responsive. You can see now, we can see our menu icon, drop down menu icon. So this website is responsive. So guys, that was all for today's video. So, and if you enjoyed this video and if you think this video was very helpful, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you are new, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also share with your friends. So till next time, bye.